Okay, so here we are. It's the showdown between Husky and Kobalt's 432 piece mechanics tool set. They're pretty much the same, but they have some slight differences, and I figured I'd show what I noticed, and you know, what I like and would prefer over the other. These are the Husky. This is all Husky, the 432 piece in all its glory. Here is the Kobalt. This is the one I typically keep in my tool cart. And so I got some cliff notes. I figure I'll show some differences. I guess we'll start right here with the wrenches. As far as wrench count goes, the Husky has the same identical sizes that the Kobalt does. The metric go from 32 all the way down to 5.5. Has some skips. I mean, it goes from 32 to 30, then from 30 to 27, then from 27 to 25, then 24, 22, 21, then skips 20, and then from 19 down there's no skips. On the standard, it's 1 1/4, 1 1/8, 1 1/16, 1 inch, 15 16, 7 8, 13 16, 3/4, 11 16, 5 8, 9 16, ½ inch, 7 16, 3 8, 11 32, 5 8, 5 16 rather, and 1/4 inch. It's identical on the Husky. The first main difference off the bat is the Husky set comes with 2 of the flex heads, the ½ inch flex head and the 3/8. These are really nice. 72 tooth as well. And everybody's got to spin this when you pick them up. It's like a tool tour must-have. But over here on the Kobalt, there are no flex heads. However, they do give you a 1/4 inch breaker bar, which, I mean, if you want to save, if you had like a really expensive ratchet, like a snap one or whatever, if you want to save it from any kind of heavy torque, and if you came across that, this would be the ideal tool to use, and then grab your ratchet. The other thing I did notice, there's a significant difference between the head size. This is the Husky, and here's the 3/8 inch ratchet for a Kobalt. The head is significantly thicker. So these are low profile right off the bat. See if I can show you. So there's a slight edge with the Husky over the Kobalt, in my opinion. Kobalt kind of has a reputation of being like the heaviest of the two. Anyways, over some others. Let me check my notes real quick. The thinner ratchets. One difference in the set is Husky gives you a micro ratchet, which this thing I've used. I bought this in a separate kit. It was like 20 bucks or whatever from Home Depot. I used it. It saved me from having to take a blower completely apart to change out a part. So these things are really cool. They have the thumb ratchet here. You know, it's just a really useful tool to have around. This set, the Kobalt set, did not come with that at all. They gave you like some form of an attempt with this thing. It's unfortunately not going to focus. It's got the 1/4 inch and a 5/16, but there's no adapter for it. So I'm not quite sure if this is just like a convenience wrench for, you know, battery terminals or whatever. But you know, that was something that I noticed that the Husky had the edge on. One of the other things is that, you know, you get the bits and the bit screwdriver. I used to really like the Husky handles until I started buying the Kobalt. When you put them side by side, you can kind of really see the difference. I mean, these are a little more ergonomic. They fit in your hand better, but you know, they're softer. The only bad thing is, you know, they catch any kind of oil or grease, and no matter what I've done, you can't get all the smudge off, the, you know, grease and grime. So it goes back to Kobalt on the multi-use, multi-bit screwdriver. The bits that come with it, they're slightly different than the Kobalt. These are not labeled whatsoever, whereas Kobalt did a real, their whole kit is organized and labeled so much better. But you know, these are just marked and, you know, organized better. That comes in a little holder for the nut drivers, whereas the Husky does not. You know, it's just kind of loose. You know, you got to find a way to store it. Kobalt kind of takes that into account and does it for you. As far as these bits go, they're pretty much identical. I didn't see any different bits that stood out. They're shaped a little bit different. That's about it. Like, you know, this one here, this is the T55. It's got like that mushroom top. You know, whereas the T55 here on the Kobalt is, you know, it's just a solid shaft. I don't know which one will be better, you know, in the long run, but you know, it's pretty much the same. They both come with the square bits, square, whatever you call them, fasteners, sockets. That's identical. All your extensions are identical as well. However, Husky, this is the 1/2 inch. This one here has the wobble that if you press it, it goes stiff, and you know, if you pull it out slightly, it wobbles. I'll show you. Get this one-handed, so you can see that. But if you press it down, it'll lock it in place. Whereas the Husky, I mean the Kobalt, it has that feature too, but for some reason not on the 1/2 inch. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just, you know, not done well or what. So Husky gets my vote on that. They're ratcheting wrenches. These are the geared. Their sizes are identical. However, they come with the same amount. These are gearless, so they just spin. There's no clicking. My experience with these, when you're, you know, back behind something, you really can't tell if you're turning the fastener or not, because you can't hear it. But there's basically less than 1 degree of an arc swing. So depending on how you want to look at it, Kobalt gets the advantage on that. As far as the differences in the sockets, the amount of sockets are the same. The sizes are the same. The biggest difference that I've seen, well, first is Kobalt does a great job of having them color coded. Blue for metric, red for standard. Husky has no identifying marks whatsoever. But on their deep and their deep only sockets, their broach is much more shallow. So I don't know if that translates on the camera or not, but the shoulder on the inside is about halfway down compared to the Kobalt, which, you know, allows you to, if you want to throw the nut in there and start it on there, you know, and then put the ratchet on. That sometimes is way more gooder, much more better. Where with this one, you wouldn't have that option. You know, it's just a matter of preference. The chrome finish on them is almost identical. The weight seems to be the same. The Husky seems to be a little bit thicker walled than the Kobalt. You know, so that could come into play every once in a while. Trying to make it quick. Let's see, I'm looking at my notes real quick. The sockets are color coordinated. Yeah, I think that's it, really. Oh, I'm not sure if I said it in the beginning or not, but the Husky wrenches themselves are thicker for the open end. So here's a 15, and here's a 15. So when you look at them, you know, from above, they're pretty much identical, but the open end is a little bit thicker, and when you look at these like this, I'll put the Husky in the back. You can see the camera is really not doing it justice, but this sits up, you know, quite a bit higher than the Kobalt. I just noticed right now, actually, that the Kobalt's a little bit longer. Oh, that's because it's the 16. Ah, now we can see the difference. All right, so 15 to 15, you can kind of see the difference. So definitely, the Kobalt gets the edge on the wrenches, you know, to be able to get in tighter spots with the open end. Because if you're using the open end, obviously it's a tight spot. So, but you know, these are just your store brand Kobalt at Lowe's, Husky at Home Depot. I love them both. I'm going to mix and match some of the things for my tool cart with the rest of my toolbox. You know, I have now wrenches for days. And, you know, if you have any other questions, you know, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching.